One thing I've learned recently, and I'm trying to really strengthen before I reach my 40s, is the power of having a very healthy nervous system. I feel nervous system is being talked a lot recently. I don't know. I see it all the time on Instagram, or people talking about what they do to regulate themselves. And I feel this is something that has piqued my interest because I've always been somebody who was really, really bad at noticing what my body needed, even just noticing my levels of stress. I think this is something where, sometimes I can sit all day and not even realize that I've been sitting and not moving at all. Sometimes I can forget that I've not had any water for 2 or 3 hours. Sometimes I feel that I'm doing okay and I'm not stressed or anything. And then something happens that is actually not necessarily a big thing, but it's enough to throw me completely out of balance. And then I realized, actually I was ignoring some signs, or I wasn't really aware of some red flags that my body and brain were probably picking on, but I just kind of like brushed it off, or I kind of numbed myself with other things without realizing there was actually something that needed to be dealt with. And I feel this partially come from the fact that my brain is on the autism spectrum, but also just in general, a bit of lack of awareness about my nervous system, and that actually it impacts such a lot of things in my life, like the level of safety I feel, but also the decisions I can make. Thinking from a clarity place, and being in a shape where you can have great experience, you can learn things, you can memorize, like anything that actually helps the nervous system, will help with quality of life in general, with health, with good mental health. And this is something that I've been more and more intrigued around, and trying to learn how to change my relationship with my nervous system, and actually how to put it in a right position to be supported, and also to do better in my 40s as well. And there are different opinions about it. I was reading a lot of people who are really saying you should really take care of your nervous system, and then that should be your priorities for everything. There are people who are saying do not try to regulate your nervous system, because then you are making yourself weaker, because you can only operate in very safe conditions. And for me, it's a bit more in between. It's a bit more, I want to understand what my nervous system needs, and that's my body and my brain, so that I can do things on a regular basis that help me be at a good baseline, so that whatever happens, I'm not completely thrown away from where I am. It reminds me of a few years ago. I was living in Oxford, and I was doing some rowing, with the boats. And one of the things that they were saying is that sometimes the boat is moving a lot, and you have your blades that you put on the water, and that help you move. And if the boat is moving, and you do too big movements with your blades, you're actually going to make things worse, and potentially the boat is gonna completely roll over. And their tactic was like, just put your blades flat on the water, and then just wait. Hold them there and wait a little bit until the thing stabilizes. And that's what I see for me as my nervous system metaphor is like, if I'm in a more or less good place in terms of nervous system, then if something happens that is unbalancing, I can stabilize myself. I'm not going to roll over completely, or really be very distracted by everything. And I feel this is really important, particularly when you turn 40s, particularly for women, when you have, either neural aversions, but also just typically like hormonal changes. There might be a lot of fragility that you feel in general around, around your nervous system, around your stress, around anxiety and things like this. So for me, that's really important to look at, and just bring it to the level where I can notice when I'm in survival mode. I can notice when I could be easily thrown off, and try to stay in a good place. And the first thing that I started doing is just learning to pay more attention to my body, to my brain, to my energy, and what daily signals I was receiving from them. As I was saying, I'm really bad at noticing stress or what my body needs in general. And I remember listening to a podcast from Marta Beck, who is somebody who talks, for instance, about integrity and how to create a life where you are aligned with yourself a little bit more. And one of the things that she does in her trainings is that when people are sitting in a home with her, and she's delivering some coaching sessions, she's always asking people, are you feeling comfortable right now? And everybody said, yes, I'm feeling comfortable. And then she just asked them, okay, if you were at home and on your own, would you be sitting exactly the same way? And that's when people realize, actually, no, they're not comfortable in this situation. Their body needs something different, but actually, because it's a social environment, that they don't really think about that. They're not really listening to their body. And this is something that really has resonated with me, because I can see that I'm also not doing that as well. So I've started doing more check-ins through the day, and it's simply just, for a second pausing and asking, okay, what do I feel right now? Like just thinking about in terms of emotion, and also like comfort, does my body feel great? For instance, I can tell you the chair I'm sitting on is really uncomfortable. Unfortunately, that's the only place where I can film properly with a good background, so I have to sit here. But otherwise, I would be sitting in a different position and different place, and not trying to be like super tight or super like too high or too low, etc. And I am also trying to see, like even just environment. How do I feel in this environment? Is there something that is actually bothering me? Noise-wise, or just like space-wise, sometimes I get very aware that my sensorial needs are not being met, or I'm sitting in the wrong position, for instance, in a coffee shop sometimes, or in a restaurant. If I'm with somebody and I'm sitting with my back towards what's happening, I don't really feel safe. Like I would need to be sitting in a place where I can see what's behind me, and like see the whole environment in just one glance. That actually makes me feel better. But this is something that, for instance, I notice now because I'm paying attention, but otherwise I would have never never noticed that. And yeah, what I also check is how can I call that, feminine energy versus masculine energy, because I know that if I'm in a good place in terms of nervous system, meaning if I'm not in survival mode or action mode or constantly doing, then that's when I'm feeling better. That's when my nervous system is really rested and it's not in a fight or flight mode. And I call it feminine because usually it's more moments where I feel I'm in the flow, or I'm feeling curious, or I'm feeling open, or I'm feeling more, I don't know, there's some kind of connection with the rest of the world that is a bit like difficult to describe, but I feel more open in general. And if I just notice when I do this check-ins that I'm actually more in a masculine place where I'm really distracted or really into action, then it means that my nervous system is trying to survive. And that's just a quick check. So if it happens during the day where sometimes I'm in masculine energy because I'm actually delivering some work, or I have to be in this place. But if it's the whole day and there is not one moment where I felt a bit more feminine, then I know that my nervous system is not in a balanced place. So I'm really paying attention to these things. And also learning to recognize when I have good days, learning, okay, today I feel my nervous system was in a great place. I did not feel any type of tension or anything, any kind of discomfort that was unmanageable, or any type of stressful situation, and just noticing how does that actually feel. Like sometimes I notice if I'm in a good place, my body, I feel like if I close my eyes, I notice that the weight of my body is in my chest or like upper belly. If I'm in a day where I'm very stressed and very in a masculine rush, then everything is up there. That's not like just that part of the brain. That's it. It doesn't go lower than that, and that's the day where I can tell my nervous system is not in a way where I can stay balanced. So if I continue doing this for too long, it's gonna go somewhere I don't want to go. So just this awareness and paying attention to my body, to the type of energy that I have, and to how I feel in general has been really helpful, just to build more awareness and just learn to recognize what my nervous system is actually doing. The second thing that comes with that is then once I have this information is what do I do with it? Because it's good to notice, but then you can make decisions from there. And what I notice is that somehow it depends on the day a little bit, because sometimes my nervous system is unbalanced and I feel it's more stressed and it's not in a good place. And in that case, I need rest, or I need to do as little as possible. I need to slow down. I need to to just basically reduce inputs and just doing less. So that means removing things or saying no to things, or just slowing down. On other days, my nervous system is more in a kind of restless place, so I have more energy, and there's kind of like there is energy inside my body that needs to get out. So on those days, it's going to be more activation. It's going to be doing more movement. It's going to be doing things that are actually helping me put that energy out there rather than keeping it inside. And that means that I have to notice what type of energy I'm getting. And it can be anything. So for instance, if I want to activate, I'm going to do some dance. I'm going to go walk outside, not necessarily without music or anything, but just like walk, because when you are in movement, then the body can process things, or can, there is a kind of a rocking body that helps calming the body, but still burning some kind of energy. That might be also If it's more slowing down, it might be, for instance, deciding to just be in silence completely. Or sometimes I use music. Music can be both activating. I can use music that is pumping me up, but I can also use music that is more like beta waves or things that are very good for the brain and really like relaxing. Like I listen to this and then I'm back in a good place. So it's like having different tools that can activate you or can calm you down in that way. And also sometimes it's just removing stuff. So it might be simple things like choosing if somebody is not somebody that I found very relaxing or very calm, and it's a person who is bringing me energy that is more hectic or chaotic or not necessarily positive, I might choose to say, okay, today I can't deal with you, so see you another day, or maybe see you never. But sometimes it's just like choosing also the places where I go. So I can tell you, for instance, I used to work a few months ago. I was in a co-working space with my team, and this was the worst environment possible for me. Like first of all, I had to take the metro in London in the morning, so it was always like very rushed. And then you arrive, and the elevators are very slow, very small. So you just enter there, you are like stuck like sardines, and like you get like just social anxiety being in the elevator. And then the whole environment would not really have like spaces designated to sit, so you have to find whatever spot is working for you. And then sometimes it's not in the right space, or there's too much chance, and it was really like uncomfortable spaces. And this is the type of things where I can say, okay, actually, you know what, I'm going to work from home a little bit more, because it helps balancing my nervous system. If I go to this office, I'm going to be stressed the whole day, or I'm going to be overstimulating with all the people, all the noise, and it's just like that space is not optimum. And just learning these things. I was working in another office before that, and it was okay. It was still people and not like designated desks, but the space was arranged differently. I was able to find different ways to work, or different ways that were not distracting that much for my brain. So yeah, just like also being aware of the spaces and choosing when you need stimulation, when you need less, and just not apologizing for that, I would say, is probably one of the things that I've learned to do as well in this case. So that's a bit more from the action point. So once you know where your nervous system is, this is how I handle it. I make decisions about doing less or doing more, removing stimulus or adding some more, whatever is needed for to bring my nervous system back to a good place, where it's too much and I have to do less, or it's too much inside and I have to put it out there. So depending a little bit on that, I just adjust what I'm doing. But this comes really from being aware of what's happening, and which was the first step for me. And then the last thing I do, which is more maintenance, I would say it's like more like daily self-care activities, is to do a few things that are also good for the nervous system in general. So I mentioned, for instance, working outside without music. That is one I do, or like dancing. That is one I do as well. But I have also things like, for instance, putting my feet up the wall. So I do this for 20 minutes in the afternoon, and also in the evening before bed. And that just helps, helps relaxing the body, gives a sense of safety that, I'm slowing down with my feet up the wall. I'm absolutely safe in that specific 20 minutes. And I also do like a lot of breathing exercises, which particularly in the morning during my morning meditation, but also during the day, if I feel a little bit stressed, I'm going to do box breathing. So when you like inhale for like 6, and then hold your breath for 6, and then exhale for 6, and then hold your breath for 6, and then you do this kind of square thing. I also like what is called the physiological sigh. So when you inhale twice, so you inhale as much as possible, then just a little top up, and then you exhale through your mouth like a big sigh. And this has been proven to really reduce stress and have continuous effect as well through the day if you do this. So I do this in the morning, and if I feel that there is a moment in the day where I need some extra relaxation, this one is really good. And another surprising thing that I do, which is that I have learned I have to do for myself, is to speak more, because I can have days where I don't speak to anybody, or just a little bit, but actually the voice and the vocal cords are also linked to the vagus nerve, so the thing that is actually driving your nervous system. And if you are talking, you are activating that, and that actually is going to make you feel more less depressed, I would say, but more activated. Same thing if you like hum, or you do sound basically with your vocal cords. This activates this vagus nerve, and that's something that I really need to do for myself, because as I was saying, sometimes I don't speak to anybody. So actually doing this video is very helpful, because it means that every single day I'm sure I'm going to speak for at least this 15 minutes, 20 minutes maybe, and that gives me that extra exercise for my nervous system. So it's a good practice as well. So yeah, these are my current techniques. I think I still have a lot to learn, and just really embody this habit of listening to what my brain and my body, my energy are telling me, checking where it is in terms of nervous system, and then doing actions that are either like expulsing some energy or getting back some energy, and then just having this good baseline of habits I can do also on a daily basis, just to maintain the nervous system in a good position. And yeah, I think it helps me being more regulated, being more calm in general, and having a little bit more resilience when other things are coming. I'm like, okay, this is unbalancing me, but I know how to bring myself back to the right place. Or even if something is quite hard and it takes a few days to recover, I know I'm gonna come back to a good place where my nervous system is in a great position. And yeah, what I've really stopped doing is basically overriding myself as well, and not ignoring these signs, because they are there. And I feel sometimes it's like the body and the brain are there to help us survive. So sometimes it's just listening to that and helping that being activated in a way that helps good quality of life. So yeah, this is how I'm healing my nervous system and trying to put myself in a good position to have less stress, more resilience, and just feel more grounded and calm and strong, whatever shits happen in life, because it will happen. But just being in a place where I can, yeah, as I was saying, like in the boat, I have my blades on the water and just stabilize myself in a way smoother, pace and a way faster. So yeah, I hope that was was interesting for you. If you're also working on your nervous system and you have some extra practices and things that you've seen have worked really well for you, share them in the comments. I will be reading them enthusiastically. And I see you tomorrow for another video about another thing I'm learning before I'm turning 40.